Check, check, check. Okay. Hello, YouTube. I'm streaming. It's the first time in a couple of days that I've streamed on YouTube. I'm probably going to stream on YouTube primarily. Yesterday I streamed on Twitch. I haven't really figured out a way to simulcast yet. I don't really think there is a good way to do it, honestly, without paying a lot of money for an app or whatever. But I've got I need to go pick up my wife, but she said she's going to be late, and I got about 45 minutes before I have to go pick her up. Realistically, I've got about 25 minutes to stick around before I need to put my shoes on and stuff. So I'm going to draw. Probably hear my cat being very grumpy in the background because it's almost time for him to eat. God, they're so food focused. He gets mad at me if he doesn't eat like every 2 or 3 hours. Anyways, it's been a long time, so if you haven't watched my other streams, which I'm going to just assume that no one ever watches these, that sketch got done a couple days ago. I think I started inking it yesterday. The inks take a long time because you gotta do clean, dark lines. If I were to start drawing this today, I don't know if I would have dark lines. I might just paint everything. But when I started this comic book well over a decade ago, I went with this very particular art style, and this is pretty much just how I know how to do it. So that's what I'm doing. I had a crazy day. Got a job today. I'll be sorting through a bunch of IT stuff for a company that went out of business. Then the garbage can that I just got for like the street at this new place that I live in. I just got it. It's gone now. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to it. So there was another one nearby that I just took. I don't know if it belongs to somebody. I have no idea. I don't understand the trash situation at this place. We live in a duplex, not really downtown, but close to downtown Nashville. Like we're just like 3 or 4 miles away from the Ryman and Vanderbilt and Hattie B's and all the Nashville things. I don't give a shit about Nashville, I should mention. I moved here because my wife got a really nice job. Which is why I'm just kind of sitting around. I'm looking for work. I had to quit I had a really nice, cushy IT job. But I had to quit and leave it because she got this position, which is why I'm streaming these days, because I am pretty much just sitting around bored, waiting on people to call me. Just full on hashtag adulting, you know? I hate it. But I really can't just sit around and play video games all day. I gotta do something productive, which is what this comic book is all about. As silly as it may be, it gives me something to do. It isn't just mind-numbing. Plus, it keeps me drawing. You know, I really enjoy drawing on a Wacom tablet. I went to college for computer animation in Full Sail back in 2005, 2006. I'm a very ancient being, despite not really looking all that old. I am very, very old. I'm an ancient being from the 1980s. Yeah, I went to college 20 years ago. It was my second college. I'd been to college before. I actually have a degree in art. I actually trained with a guy that trained with another guy that trained with Salvador Dali. That's my little claim to fame. I tell people that all the time. It's like, I know a guy who knows a guy who like was Dali's final student. That's my claim to fame. I'm 3 degrees away from Salvador Dali. Dali obviously is a much better painter than I am, or was. I forget when he died. It was a long time ago. I think he and I were alive at the same time. Hey Google, when did Salvador Dali die?
Salvador Dali died on January 23rd, 1989.
Yeah, so he and I were only alive for a few years at the same time. I didn't realize it was in the 80s. I thought he died like late 90s or early aughts. It's wild. But the cool thing about Twitch is that I actually get a couple of live viewers. And on YouTube, I don't get anybody watching this live. And today's going to be a short one anyway. Like I said, I got to go. I got a hard out in about 20 minutes. So I need to come up with like a title card for these drawings. And I think tomorrow I've got some freelance I need to work on. It's not my comic book. I got a girl that started a Discord. She's a good friend of mine. And she needs a logo for her Discord. And I have no idea what to charge for that or how long it's going to take or any of that. But I might be working on that tomorrow. In fact, I'm almost certainly going to be working on that tomorrow. And then my job that I just got, I literally just filled out the paperwork for it. That starts on Monday. Where is her arm at? I don't know where to put this girl's arm. I'll put it right there. So that's her arm. This is like her shoulder. That's the curve of her shoulder. That's the curve of her neck. And then this is side boob. I need to clean that up as much as possible. Yeah. The thing about drawing women is that you need to suggest the sexiness. You need to suggest the subtlety, the suppleness. Is that a word? Suppleness. You need to suggest all that. You don't need to be explicit about it. If you're explicit about it, it takes away from it, in my opinion. It's all about subtlety. And see, that right there is a really good example of something you're not supposed to do. That line is just directly leading into that line. So what you do in situations like that is you just kind of erase it. You don't want lines intersecting awkwardly like that. That's kind of like a personal rule. A lot of what I know how to do comes from Gabe from Penny Arcade, which, if if you're of a certain age, you probably have no idea what Penny Arcade even is, but it's one of my favorite web comics. It's been around forever. Gabe is that's his like username. His real name is Mike Kraholik, I think. They're out of Seattle, but he used to do these live streams where he drew his comic, and their comics are real simple. They're just 3 panels, and it's like a joke, and like a panel 1 is a setup, panel 2 is the punchline, and then panel 3 is just kind of something really absurd. And they used to do live streams, and the art was like this. It was all done in Photoshop. It was all done on a Wacom tablet. Yeah, this is a good example of my Wacom tablet sucking. See that? I'm making different lines and stuff, but it's the driver crashes a lot. All I gotta do is just reopen it though. I think that's just this tablet. It kind of sucks. Hang on a second. Just gotta close Photoshop and reopen it. It could be a problem with this old version of Photoshop. This is CS5 from 2010. That was the last time it was updated. It still works really great though. Like it does everything I needed to do, and I've got a license forever because someone at my previous job bought a full-on license, and then I was pretty much the only one that ever used it. So I've kept that all these years. Literally had this copy of Photoshop since 2014. It is mine. It is not stolen or anything. It's a legit copy. It probably cost them like $800 back in the day. These days you would just use the cloud, whatever it's called, the CC. I forget what it, Creative Cloud or whatever. I really don't like the way they do that now. Like I would much rather, like if I were a professional artist working in a company or whatever, I'd just be like, look, just give me a copy of Photoshop that I can install on all my machines. And like, I don't want some subscription or some other nonsense. Just let me have it and have complete control over it. And Adobe seems to have like issues with that now. They don't really let you have it. You can buy it, I guess, but God knows how much it is. Probably $2,000 or $3,000. Photoshop's the greatest program ever made, in my humble opinion, and yet they make it kind of hard to get these days. Like we had in my old job, we had a graphic designer on staff, and I think we were spending like $400 or $500 a year just so she could have Photoshop. Like, it's ridiculous, dude. It really is. It's kind of just absurd how expensive it is. That was for a subscription. And then at my previous job, like a decade ago, I had a copy of CS3. And I remember my boss buying that, and it was, I think it was $3,000, if I'm not mistaken. I had like all the DVDs like on my desk all the time because it was just absurd how extremely expensive it was. I had to kind of make a trophy out of them. And that company, like, they had no money. All right, so I need to leave in about 10, 15 minutes. I'm not very happy with how that came out. I think I'm going to clean that up a little bit more. Anyways, this job I've got, it's so strange how this happened. There's my cats. Their feeder just went off. It's 5 p.m. Central Time. Their feeder just went off. Fat little bastards. But this job that I've got, it's for a pretty famous company. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I honestly don't even know if it's going to happen for real or not. But it's right up my alley because it's sorting out IT equipment. Essentially, there's this company, pretty big. It's two companies involved. There's a company that's pretty big, and there's a company that's like really old, like an old American institution of a company. And they had a bunch of iPads and computer equipment sent around the country to all these stores. And the storefront filed for bankruptcy, essentially. And so they had to send all that equipment back. It's all going to a warehouse about an hour away from here, unfortunately. It's going to take me forever to get there and drive back every single day. But it's a job. It's paying. It's not like a ton of money, but it's something. I don't really have anything going on right now. A credit card I got to pay off, and my old apartment wants some money. The one we just moved out of, even though we didn't break anything and had absolutely no issues with anything whatsoever, they're like demanding all this money all of a sudden. I'm going to write a very bad review of that. That's what I'm talking about with adulting. Just adulting stupid shit you have to do. I swear, man, like, there's so much dumb stuff you have to do once you're, like, past the age of 25. No one ever tells you that. Just stupid crap. So this is sheets. It's fabric. He's laying on some sheets. This is a guy. That's his head. These are two ladies laying on him. I think I need to clean that up a little bit. I wonder who stole our garbage can. That's what's irritating me. Like, I hate to steal a garbage can, but someone stole ours. Someone stole our original one, and then someone stole our fucking replacement one. It's like, why do people steal our stuff? This is so bizarre. You guys happy now? Yeah, it's funny how that job came about. Like, when you're jobless, which is the first time I've been unemployed in a really long time. Like, my previous job I got in 2014, and I kept it until about a month ago. And then before that, my previous job before was for 6 years, and I literally quit that job, took one weekend off to move, and then started my other job. Like, it's just zero break. And other than going to like Thailand a couple years ago, and like Seattle in Canada a few years before that, I really haven't taken any time off in the last like forever. I've just been working. So, I'm kind of, this is kind of a well-deserved break in a lot of ways. But I do want to get back to it because I don't want big gaps in my resume. And I actually enjoy like working IT stuff. This job's going to be a bunch of inventory management, which I'm particularly good at. I can write down serial numbers and MAC addresses all day. And I think that's what I'm mostly going to be doing. That's really pretty good. Working on hair is no fun. These girls have got very wispy hair going all over the place. So in the story, even though I haven't really said this explicitly yet, but this guy that's asleep with these girls on him, he's the big bad. This guy is more or less his helper. And this is literally the page that they're introduced. This guy is the leader of the thugs that are attacking the main characters. And it's a little bit above, it's beyond his ken. And he's freaking out a little bit. I just heard that phrase for the first time about a year ago. Beyond our ken. It's Ken, like a Ken doll. Like a Barbie's boyfriend. Not beyond our ken, like K-I-N. Like K-E-N. Strange phrase. I looked it up. It's from like a novel or something. Doesn't really have any kind of self-explanatory power. It's just beyond us, essentially. It's a way of saying, it's a fancy kind of literary way of saying beyond our understanding. But you could just say beyond our understanding and everybody would understand what you're talking about. But beyond our ken. And what's funny is that now that it's one of those things where now that I've heard that, I hear it all the time. Like I was literally playing Xenoblade X, which I've been kind of obsessed with here lately. And the bad guy says that. He says that the humans, like, they have no understanding of these aliens. It's beyond their ken. And I'm like, I can't believe. It's like, I don't know what, that's got a name. I can't remember what that is, but when you hear something and then all of a sudden you start hearing it everywhere. It's like the Mandela effect, but very specific. Yeah, I've had a lot of been interviewing like crazy. I interviewed with a MSP, which if you don't know what that is, it's a company that does like you kind of offload all of your IT stuff to an MSP, and those guys essentially just get yelled at all day by lawyers and doctors and people who are having computer problems. So it's not really that great of work, and I'm kind of glad I didn't get that job because it wasn't paying all that much. It was paying substantially less than what I'm about to get paid. But also it was kind of an entry level position, and like I said, MSPs get yelled at like all the time, so it wouldn't have been that great of work. But one good thing about it was that they had a location downtown, so it was like right next to the Ryman Theater, and right in the heart of downtown. I'd have a parking pass for downtown. But this job that I just got onboarded for is the exact same thing. I should have a parking pass and all that good stuff. That's actually a pretty good stopping point right there. Let me work on this guy's. Actually, should I give him a hand? I don't know if you'll even see this guy's hand or not, but let me give him a hand real quick and then I'll stop. Hands are hard. You kind of have to go out. I always draw like the hand itself first, like the meat of the hand. And then like you kind of just work on some fingers and stuff. And I probably make it look easy drawing hands, but I've been doing this for millions and millions of years. A good thing about my previous job was that they actually bought me a Wacom tablet when I first started, because I did actually do some graphic work for them. And it was not a very demanding job most of the time. Most of the time I was just waiting on issues to pop up. And so what I just did was I would come in every morning and I would just make sure everything was like going well. That's actually not bad right there. I'd make sure everything was going well, and then I would just start drawing, because I had this copy of Photoshop on my machine. These are the knuckles. That's how I draw knuckles. It's not bad. Not terrible. I think maybe we need to do that. I feel like it might be a little bit too small. You can widen them out a little bit, I guess. Just thicken the lines and then erase the center. This is how I draw. I really don't even recommend people getting any kind of like art advice from me. I had a friend that years ago, I showed him like how I do stuff on Photoshop, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm learning so much." But I don't. He's like so much more. He's so much better of a painter than I like ever could be. Like he paints on canvas and stuff now. I don't think he's ever even attempted to draw digitally. Digital art is it's got its own thing. And see, the thing about AI, like people complain about AI taking our jobs and stuff away, but I don't think any AI could do this drawing that I just did. It's in a style that it's pretty unique to me, and it's like a signature, man. Like I've never seen anybody draw the way that I do. Not to toot my own horn. I'm not saying he's doing all that good. It's just unique. Like one of my claims to fame is that I got a somewhat prominent indie game developer to read my comic book one time, and he loved it. But he said that it's just real basic shapes like triangles and squares and stuff. Like, yeah, it's a minimalist approach. I can draw like photorealistically. I've got a picture of Michelangelo's David somewhere, the statue, and for my final, it's like a dissertation in medical school. In order to graduate with my art degree, I had a lot of art history stuff I had to do, but my teacher, the guy that was like associated with Dali to a certain extent, he wouldn't let me graduate. He wouldn't let me pass that class until I got Michelangelo's David just right, and it was like with like a 2B pencil, and it was like not a piece of canvas. It's a really big piece of paper. It's like 18 by 36 or something. And I had to like get everything, like make a grid and more or less do pointillism in order to get it like just right. A lot of shading, a lot of very, very careful. And it was one of those, this is not Photoshop, why there's no undo. I've got that around here somewhere. I think my mom actually has the original, like, actual piece of art. I don't know what she's done with it. I have no idea where it is. I might need to find that sometime and get it for safekeeping because I might actually have it. Over here is a spare bedroom, and it's got a big closet. I have all my old art portfolio stuff in there. That's me, though. I'm a guy with an art degree. I went to school for computer animation. After that, I'm going to save this. Went to school for computer animation. Got really deeply in the weeds about that stuff. And then got a graphic design job out of college. And then transitioned to IT because IT pays like way more money than graphic design and art does. Art is so like, no one appreciates art, which is why the AI stuff is just like eating it alive. No one gives a shit. Like it's really amazing to me. Like someone will ask you to like spend 10, 50, 300 hours making a piece of art and then be like, is $25 enough? And it's like, what the fuck, man? Like if you did IT work for 1,000 hours, you would get like $65,000 paid. Like a lot of money for doing a lot of IT stuff because they don't know how to do it. People don't. It's funny that dichotomy is really funny to me. No one appreciates art the way they do IT, but I can't complain about it. It's just, I mean, I can, but anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. This is a short one. It's coming along. I think it'll be done. What's the day? Tuesday? Today's April Fool's.